prisión, Wilson Manyoma, Borbona.
Go ahead.
Said Masters on episode 68.
Episode 68. I'm glad you said it because I was going to say the wrong number.
You know what's crazy is that when you went on social media today and announced the episode coming out, I was like, damn, we're so close to it. The one we've all been waiting for.
What, 100?
69. Episode 69. Are you kidding me?
Episode 6. We got to do something special.
Listen, after 69, we're a long way from 420. So,
oh yeah, we are a long way. So we got a while before we get to celebrate
to another big number. Let me pull
big. Yeah, we're gonna pull up the chat so we can see where everybody's at. I hope everybody's having a good
Thursday. It's almost a weekend.
Yeah, well, good Thursday, which means it's at least somebody's payday.
Yo.
It's at least somebody's.
What up, Seeker?
Yes. What's
Somebody's
up, guys?
getting paid today.
Somebody's getting paid today. If you're not getting paid, hopefully your girl is getting paid, or hopefully your man is getting paid. You know, hopefully somebody's getting paid. Thursdays are good days.
Yeah. Do you? How do you feel about? What do you want? Like weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? You want to get paid every day? What's the ideal way to get paid?
That's a good question. The ideal way to get paid, or what's realistic? Because to me, I'm like, give me my money, stop me all throughout the day to give me money as we go.
I wanted my shit to be like Uber. I want my fucking number to just go up throughout the day. The more I'm out here, the more money I'm going to make.
I mean, if you think about it, there's nothing else except labor that appreciates at such a slow rate in terms of, if something just becomes worth more, like gold, let's say the price just drives up in the course of a half hour, it goes up by $4. That's not, it's pretty quick. There's no gradual increase. Wait, you'll go up to $4 next Friday.
You don't have to wait till next week for the price to go up on gas.
Yeah, nah, you don't.
That shit just changed from morning to night.
True.
You go to work, that mobile says, $3.75. You're on the way home, it's $3.85.
Absolutely.
Surprise.
Absolutely surprise.
And that's not even the credit card price. You pull up there, try to put a card into that thing.
Because today's price
is not yesterday's price. We were just talking, me and one of my boys were just talking about that because the, Rotella, the oil. So there's
I'm not.
There's a company called Rotella. I think Shell owns them. They make motor oil, and one of their oils is the one of their oils. A lot of 4-cylinder turbo cars use. It's this diesel oil that just works well. For whatever reason, I truly don't know why. It's a diesel mode. It's a diesel and oil, but it just works good, and it's scientifically proven to work well with certain cars, right?
You know way more than me about that kind of stuff.
I know we're probably closer than you think, but anyways, so their factory burned down. And now, you look online and try to buy this shit, and the price is through the roof. Somebody's on Amazon selling it for $200
because you just can't get it anymore.
Because you can't
because they're no longer producing it.
The factory burned down.
Jesus Christ! There's always an opportunist. I mean, that's what it really comes down to when you think about it. I mean, there's a lot of I spoke about it I believe it was last episode. That guy that I watch on YouTube called Pepe David. He actually mentioned he's I'm waiting for the next crash because I have cash. So there's people that do the same kind of thing.
Yeah, he should. I imagine he would have stocked up on oil, but what the difference is like my friend who was looking for Rotella, or Rotella, however it's pronounced. He was gotta switch up to Mobile One. So
right, switch it, bro. You know, I mean, I watched. Do you remember during that whole gas shortage? I think it was hurricane. What was the hurricane that we had over here?
Oh, that was Sandy.
It was Hurricane Sandy. So it was can't believe I forgot that silly ass idiot Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah,
but
I kept making SpongeBob jokes the whole time.
Right. Well, Hurricane Sandy was actually caused an issue with petrol supply. So it caused an issue with gas. So I actually knew a guy that
gas on deck,
bro. he actually had, where he was working, there was priority gas fill up, like in his field.
Okay.
So he was going and getting his gas filled, like cutting the line, and he had containers. And he was going around and upcharging. Damn. But that's the business.
I'm not even
That's the
mad at
business.
him.
But everybody won in that situation because he was literally delivering gas to people. He was delivering it.
That's crazy. Can you imagine? I wonder how they did with oil. I wonder if oil was crazy at that time too. Like, because people heat their homes with oil,
People heat their homes with oil. People do, like, there's a lot of shit that people need that for. I mean, that's why it's crazy when you think about California that they actually recently outlawed the use of, like, gas, landscape equipment, like small machines that require gas. Like, they're trying to cut down entirely and only use battery-powered devices.
Dude, some battery powered devices are sick. Before I get to that, I just want to get to the chat real quick. Seeker says that he had a gas dude that used to tell him when the truck was coming. He had the gas connect. So wake up extra early, go over to get the gas. That's a good connect to have. But going back to battery things, I like a lot of my tools. My dad, when I grew up, my dad had the compressor with the hose hooked up to the gun or the ratchet, whatever.
Yeah.
And that we would have to switch it off. Like, he had a ratchet and then he had like an impact gun and he would switch it off for whatever he was doing. Nowadays, I don't need a compressor anymore because these tools are just like so good now. They make enormous impact guns that will tighten up to like 1,000 pounds or loosen up to 1,200 pounds. Like, just crazy tools like guns that will snap bolts off.
Yeah,
and they're battery powered.
Yeah, I mean, it never used to be that way.
But batteries run out.
Yeah,
I think the battery technology is getting better. Like the Milwaukee like automotive selection is super fucking good, dude. They have slim ratchets. They have enormous impact guns. You seen that big ass impact gun that I got?
I love that shit. That's literally what like changed you did my brakes and shit. You helped me change all kinds of shit on my car with that shit.
That thing is just as strong as it doesn't. Now, given the battery's going to die on that. A compressor, it's going to, every time the compressor gets low, it's going to fill itself back up.
Oh, wait, you weren't talking about that. You were talking about the impact gun in terms of like, is that the gun that we were referring to?
That's the gun we took your wheels off with.
Yeah, it is the one I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy, bro.
Yeah, they're just technology,
Way different, bro.
I'm sure there's still a world where compressors, there's still room for compressors. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get a battery powered like sander or something. If you get a battery powered sander, like the battery's going to run out. Like you're trying to sand a car, that battery is going to run out. But when it comes, or like you're using a grinder to like grind a bunch of metal, you get a battery powered one, you can't use that thing for the whole day. The battery's going to run out. And
the worst part is about a battery operated, tool like that is you actually start to feel the power decrease throughout the battery life.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
like you don't have the consistent like wall current like that outlet. So you can feel it starting to act up and starting to work like shit.
Seeker says Berto cutting down trees with a plug-in chainsaw. That's a fact. I did cut that tree down with the Harbor Freight plug-in chainsaw, the burgundy jammy. That shit was like this big. You
got to be careful with Harbor Freight tools, bro. You got to.
Yo, a lot of their shit's lifetime, dude. That's the craziest part.
It's not only lifetime. You mean lifetime like warranty?
Yes. Did you know that?
I believe they would be.
Listen, bro, I'm telling you right now, and I'm not like a huge Harbor Freight advocate. I'd rather buy like nice tools than buy like, if I have the option, I'd rather buy the nicer tools, right? Because
buy it once.
Nothing's worse than you like, trying to get something off and you snap something and then you got to go to the store to replace it. And even if it has a lifetime warranty, it's still your time. You're going out of your way. Now you have to stop. If the car you're working on is yours, I've had times where I'm working on my car and it's like, I got everything I need. And then I'm here and then my car's in pieces and I just fucking
and your
broke
shit dies.
Something.
And you have to try to like
and
reconstruct.
Now I have to figure out how to get to back to the store to get this tool again.
Oh, because your car's in
had
pieces.
that happen to me with specifically it was Harbor Freight. It was one of their ratchets. And shame on me, I was stepping on it, trying to get a bolt off. I was like like kicking it and like stepping on the wrench.
Yeah.
And it just like snap.
And you broke it off like
I broke it off, and then I couldn't get to the store because my car's in pieces. So now my car's in pieces. I can't finish the job. I can't put it back together.
And so now what? You sitting out like this, you're like,
I had to call somebody to take me to the store.
well, you know.
I was young too. I had like, like I could fit all my tools like in my pockets, at this time.
Yeah, like six things, and 3 of them were screwdrivers.
Yeah, I had like the essentials, I had like a socket set, a wrench, and like a pair of pliers.
Yeah, for real.
And
man.
like a flathead screwdriver.
Bro, you need the necessities. You need
crazy?
you need the multi-purpose joints.
I could do a whole swap on a Honda Civic with just those tools, bro.
Yeah,
I don't even need the whole socket set.
You could even sacrifice one of those and get like a rubber mat. They use to open jars.
Yeah.
You get one of them little joints right there and be like, yo, you know what? I'm going to do this swap. Keep them pliers. I got this thing. That shit is wild.
But real quick, we should get into the stories that we have for today.
Yeah, man, there's a few things we want to talk about. First, shout out to everybody in the chat, and still rest in peace, Bob Saget. We're doing 2 episodes in a row. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Bob Saget.
But so one of the things that I thought was kind of crazy, I didn't expect it, like, was that Logan Paul story.
Oh my God, the Logan Paul story is like brand new. Logan Paul, if you guys don't know, Logan Paul's been pretty big into buying Pokemon cards. Maybe the past like 2 years.
Yeah,
he has that first edition.
He reignited
PSEG
like
10.
the interest in Pokemon cards again.
No, 100% not.
No, he didn't.
Nah, he got on
to the casuals.
wave.
He did because he made me aware.
Yeah, but the thing, but it was blowing up. What happened was that it was blowing up again, and the prices were through the roof. And then he's like, "Let me get in on this because people are making money on this shit."
Yeah. Okay.
And then he started just buying up, a bunch of like unopened boxes, so on and so forth. And now how many first edition boxes did he have?
11.
He bought a box, and the box looked like one of the boxes that would get sent to the store.
Yeah, it was a shipping box.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. It was an unopened shipping box. And he even had it authenticated by like the BBCE or whatever that authentication company is. Like he had it authenticated, like the outside packaging.
Mm-hmm. That it was like an authentic, like they would have shipped it to wherever they were shipping it in this kind of a box, and this is what it looked like. And he posted it on the internet, and people started to say, "This looks kind of fishy. It doesn't really look like legit," which is probably what would have happened regardless.
Yeah.
But he fucking opened it up.
Well, wait, let's talk about, did we say how much he spent?
$3.5 million.
So that's what makes this story so crazy when you think about cards and stuff like that and collector's items is he bought these things, which is heartbreaking enough. I don't care if you buy anything. If it's fake, that shit sucks. Yeah. Now, when you talk about a $3.5 million investment, when you buy a bunch of trading cards for $3.5 million, get the outside packaging authenticated, and he bought it from somebody that's a well-known sports card collector and dealer. He's like a big guy in the game, and was like, he bought that for $2.7 million. Originally, he bought it for $2.7 million, and then after the $2.7 million purchase, he sold it to Logan Paul for the 3.5. So he came up almost $1 million on that.
Yeah, made money. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but being, he was a really respected collector in the field, so he sold it for the 3.5 million.
Logan bought it, and they opened it up, and they were fake. Yeah, they weren't even, their boxes were fake. You could see it the second they opened so it's a brown box, and inside are the Pokemon cards. They open up the brown box, and they have a legit box of Pokemon cards, and you look at it, and it's just like completely discolored. Like it's way lighter yellow than it's supposed to be. And it's not like it was in the sun or anything like that. And they knew immediately. They open them up, and what's inside? Fucking G.I. Joe cards.
Yeah, and I'm looking Tom in the chat, like I agree with you. I mean, we haven't authenticated this. I mean, this is something that was posted by people involved in the scenario. So
that's so funny because I never think about things like that. But like, Juan thinks like that. He doesn't believe anything he sees. It is true. He is making money on this. But the reason why I kind of believe it is because he's bringing in other people that are in the industry and that aren't in like this like YouTube vlogosphere, right? The gentleman who he bought the package off of is a legit collector and like he has a reputation. But I don't think it's in that guy's best interest to be known as the guy who sold Logan Paul fake cards. That's his business, and he's one of the biggest guys in this business.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, like, going back to Tom's point, is that he did say that he would, like, that they had a deal worked out where he would refund him the money.
Yeah.
So
but if it's fake, then it's...
Yeah, I mean, so I'm sure they had a deal worked out. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if that's not true. I mean, if that's false, rather, that story. So, it really depends on, if you want to believe the hype. I mean, I thought the story was interesting. Like, so right away, I kind of want it to be true.
Yeah, you want it to be true, not because you hate Logan Paul.
No, just because it's juicy.
Yeah.
Just because I'm trying to. Let me sip on the tea a little bit.
Yeah. What's better than that,
Yeah, not many things.
No. Let this be real for the next week or two. And then let another story come out that it's all fake. And then we get twice the entertainment.
Yeah.
I could feel good for a week or two about this story, and then it could crash and burn, and then I could feel even better about that one.
I mean, who knows? I mean, only time will tell. I mean, we'll find out.
I think it's what happens if he opens up those G.I. Joe cards and they're they're worth something. It looks like a fake from like years ago, like that this was fake, but it really is 20 years old, because they said that the box was looked consistent with a box from that time period, and it had the right wear on it. And it
according to what though? According to like his expertise.
According to this mamau that fucking rates boxes.
I could take that fucking box and slide it around on the floor for a couple hours.
You're not gonna trick one of those guys, dude. You're not gonna.
Well, somebody just gave him the fucking long,
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody gave him the.
That's why I'm saying maybe it was a fake from so many years ago that it the box did look legit, but it was fucking always fake.
Yeah,
like, I wonder somebody had that shit in their house all this time, and it was fake the entire time, and they didn't even know it.
Well, they probably didn't know. They probably set it up, and these were probably extra junk cards that they were like, damn, we still got them boxes of fake shit. Well, it's kind of popping today. People are likely to buy them if they think it's unopened. They probably just stumbled on this shit or forgot they had it and then just made all this money with this scam real quick. But yeah, Tom's mentioning it again. I mean, yeah, Seeker says that you should get refunded the difference. I guess like just the increase in the sale price. So that would be like 800,000 or whatever. And then it makes sense, Tom. I mean, you buy a box of G.I. Joe cards for, around $100, collab with a guy who sells cards, and then both of them make tons of money off the videos. No,
that aspect of it is super true. Listen, it very well could be.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but we'll see.
Well, what's funny or not funny, but just like that's been happening since like that. A lot of YouTube was just people making shit up. Remember all the fake pranks from back in the day?
Oh,
remember,
yeah,
like
of course.
TV and shit like that, and these guys that were like going to like messing with gangsters in the hood or some shit like that. They had these stupid pranks and like they were getting beat up, and then it turns out it was fucking all fake. It just happened with Nick Merckx, the basketball YouTuber. Not Nick Merckx. Nick Merckx is a Call of Duty player. Nick, what's his name?
Nick Brez.
Nick Brez?
Yeah, something like that. He got caught up doing that.
Bricks or whatever the fuck his name is.
I think it's Briz, Nick Briz. But he, because his headlines are always super clickbaity like that. It's like, 5 guys at the park wanted to fight, like.
And it turns out that he was hiring people to come to the basketball park to stir up shit and talk shit to people.
And you know how it got exposed?
His boy exposed it. The other dude is from New York.
Because his boy's a real one that was about to scrap with these dudes. Like, they came up, all this shit, and he was like, yo, I'm about to knock everybody out. He was like that crazy guy that he was running with. Yeah. And that's how he found out,
Well, either way, it really makes you think, like, Damn, is any of this shit fucking real?
I don't think it. I mean, I don't think it is.
He's convinced you that's it?
I'm done. Everything is fake. This is all bullshit. The Pokemon cards is fake. The whole deal was fake. Nick Briz was fake. It's all fake. It's all fake. That's it.
It's 100% possible.
I don't believe it.
So real quick, before we get to the next story, I have a viewer question. Comes from my boy Tom, and it's and we'll go back and forth. We'll both talk about our opinion, and the question. And just if anybody ever has any questions they want us to talk about or anything like that, you could always leave it in the comments of the last video or put it in the chat, and we'd be more than happy to talk about it. But the question is, and I believe it's based off our last conversation about VR, but it's, are gamers athletes? Or are professional gamers, or I believe that was the way the question was phrased, is are gamers athletes? And do you want to give your opinion first, or should I give mine?
You can give yours. Whatever you want to do.
Okay, I think mine's obvious, that I believe that, yes, they fall into that category of athletes because they're people who are competing against each other in how can I say it? I didn't pre-think this, but
speak from the heart, bro.
Let's see. Why do I think that? I think they're athletes.
You do think they're athletes?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we need a couple ground, like
Right?
some foundation first.
Like, what's an athlete?
We have to define an athlete, and we have to define sport.
I'm glad you asked that because I looked that up earlier.
Yeah.
All right. And after I learned how to spell athlete, I found out that it's a person who is proficient in sports or other forms of physical exercise.
Okay. So by that definition, gamers are not athletes.
Is it not physical enough?
It's not physical at all.
Well, it is physical.
No, it isn't.
They're moving around.
Who's
They're
moving?
moving their arms.
You're moving your arms. It's not physical. It's as physical as making a scrambled eggs.
Okay.
So if cooking a meal is physical, then okay, it's physical.
What about race car drivers?
I don't know. Race car drivers are that's tough. That's like because I don't think that's a
sport
a
either?
sport either.
Okay. That is also very, very.
That's much more. If anything gets the nod, it's car racing over gaming.
I could see why car racing would get it over gaming for yourself, right? But I definitely think that gaming still falls underneath it. I think that there's skill in like gaming. It's not like anybody is just going to pick it up and play it.
There's skill in a lot of things. There's skill in writing.
Yeah.
There's skill in surgery. Mm-hmm. So is a doctor an athlete?
Well, they're not competing against each other. There's no competition in that.
Says who? They get signed by contracts. They get signed. They get bought out.
But they don't win or lose, right?
Of course you do.
There's not a winner and a loser.
Of course there is.
If two surgeons go into operating rooms and they perform the same procedure and they both come out successful, that's what the expected result is, that they both come out successful.
They're competing against other hospitals, essentially. Because if you think about it, those two doctors are playing what kind of game? You explained it to me last time. When your worlds can intertwine and you can work together. What is that?
A co-op game.
Okay, so that's a co-op game, right?
But the reality of it is that even though there's this like underlying business competition, they're not directly competing against each other, and there's no scoreboard, right? So we can't. There's not like a television broadcasting like, all right, this hospital has had X amount of successful surgeries, and this hospital has had Y amount. Like
okay, so now we're defining.
We could definitely say that surgeons aren't athletes.
So now we're defining sport by keeping a score.
By an organized competition.
An organized competition. Okay, so they're not
I think that people play in organized competitions are playing like a sport.
Okay. All right. So if you want to lay those ground rules for sport,
that's my opinion. But it does most definitely. I'm not trying to say like that. That's what it is.
Okay. So, in my opinion, I don't think that gamers are athletes because, first of all, we just defined athlete.
There's so much going on in the chat right now that I can't even keep up. Go ahead.
All right. So you want to stop real quick and take a look?
We can go back.
All right, so let's go back. We're going to catch up with the chat real quick regarding the current the current topic. So Sports are other physical activities. So what's a sport? Right? That's what we're trying to define because that's, I think, part of it. What about professional darts? Good question. That's another one that I think is not a sport.
Are those guys athletes?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I feel so much better though because it's not like a thing against gamers anymore.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Now
I know people that are half in the bag, 6 fucking 12 packs in, and they're fucking hitting bullseyes. That's not a sport either.
Bowling?
Nope. Absolutely
so
not.
Anything that's not like incredibly masculine. Masculine.
No, well, this isn't a now you're making this.
No, because that's the feeling. That's what I'm getting.
No, you need to. It needs to be physical activity that, like,
what's bowling isn't physical. These dudes
well,
are throwing.
Bowling might be a sport. Bowling's a sport.
The dudes that are throwing darts, they're like fucking ninja stars. They're like ninjas.
Is a ninja?
Are ninjas?
Are ninjas athletes? I
Only when they
an
compete. Parkour?
Parkour, absolutely. Absolutely is a goddamn athlete.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So I would have to say that to me, an athlete is a person that, dedicates, forget the dedication. It needs to be a physical activity that certain physical attributes are required and certain physical, like certain amounts of speed, strength. Like, we can't start talking about, it's really strategic thinking and it's really because, okay, so then chess is a sport. So get out of here with that. That's gone. So then it's like.
Chess is a sport?
No.
It's in the Olympics, right? I don't even know if that's true.
In the Brooklyn Olympics, maybe. Or the Olympics at Rikers. Like. All right, let's catch up with the chat real quick. So when you're doing brain surgery and the doctor starts doing jumping jacks and sets a stopwatch going for, yeah, okay, then it's a sport. So the only sport in existence is backyard ice hockey in Canada and Russia.
What up, Ray? I see you, Ray. That's so fucking funny.
So in conclusion, your thought is that a gamer is an athlete.
And the reason why I believe that, right? And I believed this before anyways. But then I started when the question came up, I had to ask myself too, right? I'm like, what take am I going to have on this? And so I look up the question: are gamers athletes, right? And the first thing you get is like articles about gamers who are burning calories while they're playing games, right? And that kind of counters anybody's argument that's like, well, they're not really athletes because they aren't like doing I don't want to say physical activities, but they aren't, they're not doing anything. They're just sitting there, right? Well,
can I interject real quick? Because what? They're burning calories?
Not because they're burning calories. Is because the fact that they're burning calories is just proof that there's a lot going on the inside, right? That the focus it takes, similar to, like you said, chess or a driver. Drivers even more because I don't think I didn't know either, but the amount of force that
there's a lot of strength required to stop that wheel from, I understand to hold the wheel in that position when you're going 200 miles an hour around a turn. I get it.
Yeah. Those dudes, they'll shake your hand and break all the bones in your hand, but go ahead, because I don't want you to lose your train of thought.
That's all right. So my question then becomes like, it starts to be how much do we know about the human body, right? Because as we're sitting here doing nothing or sleeping, you're burning calories also. You burn calories just for life process. You burn calories for digestion. You burn calories to breathe. You burn calories to do anything. To sit still right now, you're burning calories.
Correct.
I'm burning calories to talk. So I can't really get myself to entertain the caloric argument because you burn calories doing nothing.
Yeah, but the difference is that I think they said playing games for 4 hours was equivalent to 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 sit-ups.
It said 1,000 sit-ups
from a caloric perspective. So your body burns the same amount of calories as if you would have done 1,000 sit-ups than if you would have gamed for 4 hours.
But there were no facts stated in this, right? We're referring to that ABC 7 article that you sent me.
Correct.
So this article did not say what kind of people they studied. It didn't say what their health was to begin with. It didn't say anything about the study whatsoever. So it just threw out.
It referenced the study.
It referenced a study that was done by a gaming company.
Yeah.
So clearly this would be considered a biased source. So I can't really.
Even if the numbers are exaggerated, though.
Even if they are exaggerated, I mean, it depends on, there's a lot of extenuating circumstances. I mean, if somebody just did legs for 3 hours and then sat down to play a video game, they're going to burn that many calories doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, what's the metric that we're using? And if we use logic and we use just our brain and we use just like, we just think logically. I guess the question is, are we comparing this sport to other sport, or are we comparing these athletes to other athletes if you're considering them athletes?
Well, no, you can't compare any athletes to other athletes, right? The only athletes you could really compare to each other are like the three big major sports, and they're they might be this popular because of their athletes, because of how like big you need to be be a basketball player or a football player, or even nowadays a baseball player. Hockey too.
Well, you can pick out an athlete throughout whenever. Like you know what an athlete is. If I show you a basketball player and I say this guy plays in the NBA, you're like, oh, that's an athlete.
Yeah.
If I say, oh, this guy's a wide receiver for the Jets, you're like, oh, that guy. Well, the Jets, and he might be an athlete. But for the Giants, okay, that's an athlete. There's a level of physical sport that is known.
Yeah.
To be what athletics are.
Okay, so. Right? Here's my contra to that argument, is that those guys didn't start that big. If you look at basketball, when it started, they weren't all like 7 feet tall. It's developed to that because of the competitive nature. People understand that if you're bigger, you can be better at this sport. The taller people have the advantage, and people started that the league got bigger. Same thing with baseball and football. You need it, and it's only going to get more. People are going to need the requirements. For football, you're going to need to be getting stronger, so on and so forth. Let's hear it. What's so fucking funny? I see you smiling.
I'm just like in my mind. I'm fast forwarding to like 2086, and these guys are just jacked. Everybody's gaming just shredded like this.
I don't know. No. I don't. No.
I'm like, God damn it.
I don't know what gaming is going to develop into, but I'm saying that these guys were athletes even when they were small. So the fact that we could say that I think that the fact that you're saying that when you identify a basketball player, like if I show you a really big guy that's in the NBA, if I said to you he's in the NBA, you'd be like, yep, that guy's an athlete. That guy 50, 60 years ago was my height.
Yeah, but he was still crossing your ass up.
No, I know, but you couldn't have done that thing. Like, look at this guy here.
That was just a basic thing. You can argue that, and I won't even disagree, because that was just like a regular like throw out there kind of support for what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, like when you're talking about sport, that's where athlete comes in. Like I don't even think it's fair to call video games esports. That's a professional video game player. That's not an e-sport. That's nonsense. That's a term that I think was just created to give people a little more, like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm playing sports. This is an e-sport.
I don't think that community needed that nor wants that.
Oh, no?
No, not at all.
So
I
then
think
why
that's a common misconception that like gamers desire this the exception of everybody else. I think it's quite the opposite. They're more introverts over there than anything else.
We rejected Latinx, and that shit's kind of getting the boot. Nobody cares about Latinx. That shit's going away.
Well, I don't get the fucking...
If you didn't want to be called an e-sport, I'd be like, well, wait a minute. Let's not get carried away here. Like I wouldn't sit here and call myself like an athlete.
I don't think...
I'm athletic,
yeah.
But I wouldn't call myself an athlete. No matter how much jiu-jitsu I do, no matter how much boxing, no matter how much basketball I play, like I wouldn't call myself an athlete. I mean... I'm athletic, and I used to be an athlete when I played organized basketball and organized baseball. I mean, I still train jiu-jitsu, but it's not, I don't know if I would call myself an athlete. That's a prestigious term, in my opinion. So when you throw it around and you say that people playing video games are athletic, it's almost insulting to me when I think about people that I consider to really be athletes. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that the gaming community refers to it as esports. I think that's the term that came out when it became more mainstream for guys that are unaware of what, like people playing video games at a professional level is. Now that it's becoming more mainstream, that esport thing came out, right? Because competitive gaming has been out for many, many, many years.
It was a marketing thing.
It was never, ever called esports.
It was a marketing thing.
Yeah, so that's where that term comes from.
I have to agree with you there.
I think that what you said about yourself, like I still think that you could be an athlete, right? Because if you just don't like, I think like based off my earlier definition and the fact that it's like organized competition, you just aren't an athlete right now because you're not associated with any organized competition. But if you were playing if you were a softball player, if you joined like, you know, the over 40 softball people league, you'd be an athlete. No.
I played softball with some absolute slobs.
And those guys aren't athletes, even though they're playing a sport.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. There's a criteria in my mind that makes you an athlete. You can't just pick up a baseball bat or a softball bat and take a couple of swings and you're an athlete. To me, that doesn't make you an athlete. You know, there's certain levels of physical ability and
but there's no standard based on the definition. Nobody says you have to be good. It's just a person who is, I guess he's proficient.
Yeah, proficient is more than good.
Yeah.
Proficient is you
I
have
guess based on this definition, you have to be good. But from my perspective, like, and I know that I don't change the definition of the word.
Yeah.
But I feel like you don't have to be good. And I'm not saying that you should be honored because you're not good. I'm not saying everybody should get a trophy. I'm not saying that everybody should get picked to play.
You have to be good to be an athlete.
I'm just saying that I think somebody who does athletic things, like in that moment, you're an athlete.
Being good, no, that's crazy. So, you know, Uncle Jim playing fucking catch at the block party is an athlete.
I guess he's not. Yeah,
he's not a goddamn
I gotta reel
athlete.
myself back in.
Yeah. So
that guy isn't an athlete. But if you were playing softball in a league, I think after a couple years, you're an athlete.
Maybe after a couple years, but I think performance is included in the term athlete.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was going to be in there, but I can't lie because
you can't get away.
Somebody has to Google it and find a word for it. No. Roberto didn't say proficient.
Like even if you're trying to avoid, agreeing, because thankfully you're not one of those people that just wants to disagree. But I don't know. I just think that it's just. I think there's no way around physical performance being part of an athletic discussion.
Yeah, I think that physical performance does have something to do with it. And just to catch back up on the chat, I'm sorry, Seeker. I do respect hockey. You know, hockey's always been one of those sports. I've never watched hockey before. Never, ever. But I've always wanted to. It looks very entertaining. It's like soccer on ice, right?
What's that?
Hockey? It's like soccer with skates. It's like inline soccer.
I guess, bro. I was always too poor to play hockey. All my friends played hockey growing up. Like Seeker played hockey. All my friends growing up played hockey. Like a lot of them played roller hockey. And that shit was one, expensive, and two, I was terrible. I was terrible at that shit.
Tom says, all sports require an incredible amount of training and discipline in a specific field. Stereotypically, you'd associate that to guys who are incredibly fit.
No, I mean, anything requires a lot of incredible amount of training and discipline in a specific field. I mean, let's go back to surgeons. Again, let's go back to, anything. You can go back to anything, and it requires an incredible amount of training and discipline in a specific field. That's college. So students are athletes in that case.
You could be a student athlete. And then he says, but let's be real. There's no NFL team that succeeds without a great coaching staff.
Well, that's a different argument, right? That's a different argument. Like now we're talking about coaching, right? Coaching versus.
I was just reading it, man.
So coaching versus the athlete, those are two different things.
Are those guys athletes, the coaches?
They were once athletes, a lot of them, because they used to play. They're not anymore. A lot of them are schlubs.
Yeah.
That's just, it's part of it. Like I don't know, just me, myself, growing up playing so many sports and doing so many physical things as I did, the term athlete to me it's almost like a sacred term.
I get what you're saying, that it's I don't believe it's like sacred, but I believe there's definitely a criteria.
Yeah, there's a criteria, and I don't think it's something that should be thrown around. Like, not everybody is an athlete. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that strays from our original question, whether, which I think are professional gamers
athletes?
Is that the question?
Or gamers are gamers athletes?
Or is it a sport?
No, the question was, are professional gamers athletes?
Okay.
So, but All right, so let's see. But are they participating in the sport of football is the question. By that, you mean who, the coaching staff?
Yeah, I believe it.
So we're reading a question from the chat. So participating in the sport of football is the question.
They definitely are participating in the sport of football.
They're participating, but so are the refs.
Yeah. Those guys are athletes for
So
sure.
are the cheerleaders.
Also athletes.
They're athletes.
So are the refs.
No, the refs are not athletes unless they do athletic things on their leisure time.
You ever seen those refs? You ever watch a football game?
I mean, so now
I watch those guys run past receivers.
Okay, so now okay, so then that's true. Okay, so they're athletes. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you got to give it some. I'll give you baseball refs. I'll give you
Umpires.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll give you the umpires. But, you can't take nothing away from, like, hockey refs. Hockey refs especially, because their motherfuckers are on skates. They're out there.
Yeah, those might be. I mean, listen.
Each other.
Seeker was a goalie, and he was one of the best goddamn goalies I ever seen. And he also played baseball. So that glove hand was fucking nasty.
Yeah.
It didn't matter where you were at. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know.
You can catch it round or flat.
I just find the term athlete to be something that shouldn't be thrown around like that.
When you mention goalie, it's an interesting one, right? Because goalies, and this is no disrespect towards goalies, I believe they're athletes. But based on like some of the criteria that you specified earlier, like they're not really moving around. Like I know they're moving around in
the crease. No,
Yeah.
they're moving around a lot. They do more than that.
Okay.
Do you know the sport of hockey?
No, I know those guys don't leave that fucking box though.
Sure they do.
They do?
Yeah, sure they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. And they have like all that shit they're carrying. They have that stick they're defending. Like they do a lot. They're skating backwards a lot. Like they do a lot of shit.
They leave that shit. They're out there fucking.
Of course they leave the crease. They go up as Seeker. He'll tell you right now. Like they come out of that crease, man. They meet offensive players coming. You can't just sit back there sometimes.
I'm not saying they're not athletes. Well, my argument was going to be based on your original criteria and the fact that if they don't leave that box, they're not moving very much. They're kind of sedentary. Like, are they fucking athletes as well?
Oh, that's
based
an
on
athlete.
Based
but
on
they're
your
practicing,
original criteria.
They're practicing with the team. There's a minimum they have to be able to do skating wise, their cardio and stuff, like their diet. Those guys are athletes.
Yeah.
Those guys are
Diets
athletes.
and the way you look, I think is irrelevant in the terms of athletes, because there's plenty of professional baseball. How many pitchers were fucking like overweight, could throw a mean fucking curveball?
Yeah, forget diet.
And first basemen.
Yeah, forget diet. But first basemen move a lot too, and they do a lot more than you would think. But my back to my to my original point is no.
You say
I don't
no.
think professional gamers are athletes.
I'm still on the I'm still gonna take the opposite way and
But you got to give some criteria on that. Like you have to give some support for that.
I did.
What was it again?
I'm saying that they're playing a competitive game match or whatever. They're like groups of people playing competitively against each other.
So competition defines athlete.
Defines sport, and athletes play sports.
So if your abuelita went to play bingo, she's an athlete?
I think if bingo was a sport.
Why isn't it a sport?
I guess based off my definition, bingo is a sport.
So that's my point. So abuelita is an athlete.
Bingo is one of the ones that sits right on the outside, right? Because it's more. Bingo's up to chance.
Okay, so are poker players athletes?
Yeah.
They're athletes.
They're playing a sport. Is poker a sport?
No,
Yeah.
poker's not a sport.
I guess
Poker
my
falls under like the billiards type of.
They're not athletes? They're not playing a sport?
Pool players? No, pool is not a sport.
Pool's definitely a sport.
Pool's a game.
It's a sport.
Well,
And I'm pretty sure them motherfuckers are definitely in the Olympics.
no, there's no pool in the Olympics.
Not in the Summer Olympics, you sure?
Are there? I don't know.
I might have seen billiards in there.
I don't know. Let's see. Berto out here comparing hockey goalies to NFL kickers. How dare you?
Are those guys athletes?
Spasmodic, He said you can't practice bingo. Okay, so now practicing is required for a sport. All right, so we're finding a lot out here.
Listen, there's no good or bad bingo. Like, you can't be better at the next motherfucker at bingo.
Okay, so
You
poker.
You can't be better than somebody else. Like, if
So
me
poker.
and you show up to bingo night It's in God's hands.
Okay, so forget bingo, poker. So poker players are athletes.
Poker players.
You're disrespecting the term athlete through the roof right now. Through the roof right now.
How come there can't be different levels of athleticism or athletes?
Because
I
that's
guess,
not
you
the
know what?
word.
I guess
Athlete, we defined it. These
No,
people are not meeting the criteria of athlete. They're just not meeting it. And so they're not athletes. If I want to, what am I going to sit here and redefine the term millionaire? I don't have $1 million.
Yeah.
So I don't get to call myself a millionaire. I do not have $1 million. I don't meet the criteria of what's required to call yourself a millionaire.
Yeah, I guess poker players would be an argument that I really couldn't. I'm not prepared to fucking to rebuttal.
It's just, because I've seen this like multiple times. I see people trying to because I was looking this up. After the question came, I was like, I had a question. I'm like, let me see. Like, I wanted to define what the term is that people would call a sport or an athlete or what have you. And people's definition hovered around the same thing.
You got to remember that people define things like in like their classic version. So I get it that some people who have been calling football players, hockey players, baseball players, athletes since the 60s can't look at somebody who plays chess and consider them an athlete. But I think the truth is that chess is a fucking sport. It's a mental sport. And I think they are athletes. Based on maybe not based on the current definition of it being like physical. It said something about being physical, right? It was like 3 words and I can't remember it. A person who's proficient in sports or other forms of physical exercise. I think that
Physical exercise.
Yeah, I think that.
You think what? You disagree with the definition of the word?
Words evolve, right? You know that things get interpreted differently, and
they're not evolving right now.
When that word came out, games didn't exist. Video games
when that word came out,
when that word dropped in ancient Greece, when they were running in slippers, in leather slippers. And that word came out, there was no video games.
And that word dropped, bro.
When that word dropped, there was no video games for many, many years. And this isn't even just defending video games. Apparently, it's also defending the dart players and the bowlers and the fucking chess players.
Bowling is different. Bowling, I would give them.
That's what I'm saying. It's like if
bowling, bro. You can't compare bowling and gaming.
You can't compare bowling and football either.
No, but you can't. But it's much more physical. We're talking about degrees of physicality. I mean, they're throwing sometimes a 15, 16-pound ball, 17-pound ball. There's physical movement. You can't.
Paintball?
Yes. Maybe. Paintball walks the fence. I got to see, but paintball people go in.
Yeah, they're pretty physical.
They run around. They're rolling around. They're diving. They're shooting. Like, I would give them. Listen, they're up for review. All right?
That's what I'm saying, because and listen, you could you stump me when you say fucking when you say poker players. It's difficult for me to really, but maybe that's just the way like things are that things are going, in the sense there needs to be there's different levels of athletes, right? There's athletes who are very physical, and there's athletes who compete in different things, or that I don't know, man. I'm trying to fucking
I know, man.
Trying
Listen,
to save myself from this one.
I don't know why people can't just be a good chess player. Why they can't just be a good video game player or a gamer.
It's all
like why they have to be an athlete.
Yeah, my argument only stems that the only reason that they're athletes, because I don't even give a fuck if they're considered athletes or not. But my argument is derived from like me saying that these are sports, and athletes play sports. So because I've said that, they kind of have to be athletes based on my original definition of what I thought, these competitive things are. Like I said, that they were all sports.
Yeah.
So based on that logic, I kind of have to argue that they're athletes, even though the truth is that I don't really believe poker players.
You could change your mind, though.
No.
I don't think video games are sports. I don't care if marketing called it esports. That's not a sport. You're not playing a sport. You're sitting in a chair and you're moving your thumbs or moving your arms or whatever. This is not a sport. If this were a sport, when I DJ, I'd be playing a sport. You know what I'm saying? This ain't a sport. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't call that a sport.
Okay.
I can't. When I sit and I'm like, baseball, basketball, football, soccer, tennis, even table tennis.
So just real quick, I looked up the definition of a sport, and what Google says it is. This is an activity involving physical exercise and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment.
All right. Physical exercise.
Yeah, but like we mentioned that the calorie thing earlier, you're something's happening because
you're not doing exercise.
You're burning more calories than if you were just sitting there doing nothing, correct?
Yeah, but you burn more calories when you're taking a shit than you do sitting on the couch.
Yeah, but you don't shit for 8 hours straight. And shitting for 8 hours straight doesn't result in the same amount of caloric, the same amount of caloric burn as like, a small exercise would. So that's just like
that's not an exercise. That does not qualify as an exercise. If that qualified as an exercise, it would be recommended by people that are trying to put people on weight loss regimens, nobody's going to tell you sit down and play a video game if you want to get fit.
Well, no.
So it's not an exercise. You can't call it an exercise. That's inaccurate.
I guess it's not an exercise. Yeah, no, it's not an exercise.
It's not an exercise. So physical exercise entails certain things.
These fucking definitions
are accurate.
I don't know if they're accurate.
What? They're the definition of the word. What you think doesn't matter.
Words evolve.
This isn't a tan shirt. That's not a black shirt. It'll evolve.
This shirt is only black until like something blacker comes out, and then the shirt will be like gray. Right? That's how life is.
That is how
everything
life
is a fact until it's just proven wrong.
Yeah. So you think this is a social construct? The idea of sport and the idea of athletics.
I think that competitive gaming is a sport, and
but you can't tell me why. So your belief. So it's like, what is it?
Because the only thing that pulls it away from this definition of being a sport
is physical exercise.
Physical exercise,
and unfortunately, that's part of the definition.
Yeah.
So for that reason, these things aren't sports.
I think the words evolved, and now it should.
In time, I may be proven wrong.
I think it should evolve, and in time, it will evolve, and they will all fall under the same umbrella.
True. Listen, so then sleeping will be an Olympic sport. Eventually, as things evolve, I'll be able to lay down in my bed, and it will be considered a sport. We have to be inclusive here.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
So sleeping's not a sport if we're competing. If you and me lay down in the same room with a clock set and see who sleeps longer and who sleeps more comfortably or the most still,
or
we'll have a score.
The longest and then like the deepest. Because if I train all year long and then I go and compete with you
at sleeping,
you
could win.
It's a sport. But I don't think that everybody who plays a sport is an athlete. That one I gotta throw it out the window. So poker players might not be athletes, and even gamers, they might not be athletes either. But I'm standing by my sport thing.
All right, sports. It's possible that the word might evolve over time, or that the concept might evolve. Who knows? I don't know because I don't know anything.
Yeah, but I
know the metaverse.
Yeah, but I will tell you one thing that. Not all athletes are created equal in the sense that somebody who's like, somebody who runs track, they're athletes, right? But they don't look like the person who plays professional football, just like he doesn't look like the fencer, just like he or she doesn't look like the horse jockey.
True.
Is that guy an athlete? He works out.
Oh.
He's riding a horse, if anything. Who's the athlete? It's a sport for sure because they're competing against each other.
Fuck.
They're competing against each other and they train. That's what I'm saying, man. It's a weird one. And
you had to hit me with the horse jockey.
When Tom said the
my entire argument just exploded. Let the record show. Go to hell.
That just came into my mind. I was like, huh.
Who's the goddamn athlete? Damn, are animals athletes? Fuck.
Yeah, they're all athletes. Then.
That horse is on the move, bro.
They all do physical activities. Just to get food, they're doing physical activities. And it's all competition. And you know what the prize is? Life or death, Holmes. Life or death.
That's true, bro. Damn, you don't want to end up like Christopher Reeves, bro. He zigged when he should have zagged, you know what I'm saying? Damn, man. Oh, my goodness.
You know, if that shit happened modern day, there'd be a video of it.
Damn. Air Bud, bro. For
That
real.
motherfucker was definitely an athlete.
Damn, this guy just imploded my. I got some research to do. I got to sit back when I get home and just think.
So just in conclusion, my personal, and listen, it doesn't mean that I'm right. I could very well be wrong, right? It's just my opinion that I think that competing against each other in something can be classified as a sport. And now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't even know if I think that anymore. But they're not all athletes.
True.
Because it's not as, and the reason, but this is where I get hung up, right? Is because I do think it takes it does take something to perform these actions, right?
I'm not saying it's easy.
Like to throw
all
darts.
these things are difficult.
Yeah.
Let me set the record straight. I'm a terrible gamer. I'm not good at darts. I'm a terrible bowler. My golf game is trash. So there's a lot of things.
You're pretty good at golf. Don't lie to me. Don't let this guy fucking hustle you.
No, I know the game. I know how to play.
Yeah.
That's as far as I'll go. But there's a lot of these things that require an incredible amount of skill that I don't have.
Yeah.
That's
like,
that needs to be said.
What about sharpshooting? The people from the fucking that is 100% an Olympic event.
It is 100% an Olympic event, and it's considered, I think,
and they're not very that's not very physical.
Damn, you didn't look any of this up. This is all coming to you.
No, I'm just thinking about it right now.
Damn, shooters.
The thing is that I didn't want to look too deep into it. Is A, because I really didn't have the time, and B, it's not my question to you.
Yeah,
it's a question that came up to
the fans, or from the viewers.
Yeah, so we could talk about it within me and you, and it just happens that we have differing opinions.
Damn, that's man. There's quite a few arguments,
and it's just stemming this conversation. Yeah, and the shooters, that just came to my mind. I think that they're athletes, right? But if they're athletes, then fuck me, the poker players might be right on the cusp.
Yeah, damn. I mean, Jesus. The more I think about it, I'm like, 6th grade kickball.
Yeah, no, but that's what brings me back to what originally brought me into starting to think about all these sub athletes or whatever they want to be, whatever you want to classify them as, is that there's just ranges, right? Just like there's different ranges of men, right? You and The Rock, me and The Rock are both men, but we don't fucking look alike.
Yeah,
I'm not built like the fucking Rock.
No, me and Francis Ngannou are both humans.
Kevin Hart and Francis Ngannou are both men.
Yes.
But they
one fits in the other one's pocket.
Yeah.
It's very different. Those are very different, man. There's a spectrum.
It's different.
There's a spectrum, but damn, okay, guys. So, we may revisit this another time, but we're going to get off the athlete topic.
The athlete sport topic.
Yeah, we're going to get off of that, and we're going to talk, let's move on to this accusation that was made against Kanye West.
Oh, we could talk about Kanye West.
All right, so
this is the stupid. In hindsight,
what?
I think we could both agree that this story is kind of fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, there's not really many facts put out yet. I mean, he was accused of some kind of of battery.
Yeah, he's a suspect.
Yes, he's a suspect in a battery case?
Mm-hmm. Bless you. Bless you. That's it.
COVID. Excuse me. Thank you. But Olympics isn't just sports. They call a lot of them events. True seeker. A lot of things are called events, not sports in the Olympics. But
you want to go back because I'll talk about the dudes with the brooms and the ice.
Curling.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Kanye West. So they accused him of some kind of, or he's a suspect in a battery case.
Yeah.
So to me, that means a whole lot of nothing because he's a suspect. That's all they were saying.
That's like the entire article. It's just that he's that he might know somebody that has something to do with it. I think it's fucking funny. It brings me to that video. You ever seen that video of Kanye West waking up at 4 a.m. and leaving his apartment and there's paparazzi outside?
And what? And does he say he meets him at the driveway or something?
He goes outside and starts his Lamborghini. They keep asking him questions and he's like, yo, he's like, it is 4 a.m. How do you think I'm doing? He's like, you guys are mosquitoes. He was just talking, he was not happy that they were outside of his house
because that's
at
annoying.
4 in the morning. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But in my mind, I'm thinking damn, if he didn't beat these guys up, who the fuck did he beat up? Who is this guy batterying?
I mean, I'm sure it was some kind of paparazzi person or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe like a super fan.
Or like a fan that's just trying to get a little bit of fame or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean, there's a lot of people that just, that's kind of their shtick.
Yeah, you see his new chick?
Yeah, not for me.
What's her name? Julia Fox?
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. I
Dude.
mean, she's okay.
She's okay?
Yeah, she's okay.
She's the chick from, if you guys don't know, you could Google her. Her name's Julia Fox. She's also in the movie, what's the Adam Sandler movie where he's a jeweler? It's the most recent one. I'm going to look it
It
up.
ended the most,
Oh, crazy.
like the
right?
realist that I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because the whole time I'm saying, this is not going to go good. I'm like, this is going to end as
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
The whole time, like, this isn't a spoiler alert. Yes, Uncut Gems. Thank you. So, this isn't like a spoiler because it is what it is. But when he came out that room, I was like, yo, this guy, if he's a real gangster and this guy has him locked in here and talking about some kind of gambling, and then he lets him out, I was like, this guy's gonna kill him. As soon as he stepped out, he put a bullet in his head. I was like, that's how that would go.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just talking about his new chick and how she's a baddie.
She's from that movie, right?
She plays a role in that movie, yeah.
I mean, she's okay, but I'm like, Kanye West, all the money and fame you got, you can do nothing better than that. You can put yourself like a Sky Bree or something like that.
Sky Bree's fire too.
I'm like, you can like, come on, man.
She's not, this chick ain't bad looking.
No, she's not bad looking, but when I think about, the money and maybe she's funny, maybe she's cool.
No fucking way she has to be funny. I don't even want to make it seem like
maybe
I'm
she
sweating
makes
this
a good.
chick.
Maybe she makes a good lasagna.
I'm not saying, I don't even want to make it seem like I'm fucking sweating her or that she has to like be able to make a really good tiramisu to fucking keep Kanye. I just think that, she's not bad looking. Like going from Kim to her is not like the worst thing in the world. Did I just move that camera in frame? Can you guys see that?
Yeah, you did.
My bad, guys.
That's all right. Just turn it for me.
How's it look?
That way.
Let's see.
Go. Nope. The other way. The other way. Keep going. Right there. That
All
should be
right.
good. Right there.
Let's see.
Bang. We're good.
Perfect. Go ahead.
So, I think she's okay.
Okay.
That's it. That's
Fair
what
enough.
I'll say. But
can't-
needless to say, the Kanye West story with the battery and stuff. I don't know if I really believe it. We'll have to wait for more details.
This
because
one is just like people just want to make a headline and talk about Kanye West is involved in some shit because if he fucking farts and it smells a certain, and somebody smells it, like he's hitting the front page news.
Yeah, he really is. So real quick, guys, everybody in the chat, man, we got a few people in here. So if we can get some thumbs up, we can get these likes up in here while you're in here, man. We appreciate it.
Speaking of Logan Paul, because we were talking about Logan earlier, him and KSI came out with a new beverage, and it's like
What is it, like an energy drink?
no, it's supposed to compete with like Gatorade and Powerade and all those athletic drinks.
Ah,
Not to be drunken if you're playing poker or throwing darts or curling, in my opinion. Even those guys probably have crazy biceps.
But if you're playing Call of Duty, you're more than welcome to do a keg stand
with some
of
of
Prime. It's called Prime, right?
Yeah, Prime. It's I think it's cool that they had their quote unquote beef and they boxed. And I'm not like super into like these YouTube personalities. I watch a fuck ton of YouTube, but I'm not I'm not a avid like Jake or Logan Paul watcher or even KSI. Even though I think KSI comes from like the gaming world, I think he was like a really good like FIFA player or some shit like that.
Was he? I don't really know. I'm a little unfamiliar actually, but I know that he's definitely super known, and that boxing match did better than a lot of professional fights.
It's because they have such an enormous fucking fan base, and you got to think it's like USA versus the UK.
Oh yeah, so you're talking about country,
Yeah.
versus country. You almost have like an Olympic element to it.
Exactly, yeah. That's it. It's called Prime Hydrate, and they're it's cool that you get to, when you're that like I guess big and you got money like that, like you could just put your drinks out to like you could get it distributed to like Walmart and shit like that. Like if you and I made a drink, it would take us a long time to be able to to get it into Walmart or fucking, you know, Whole Foods or any of these stores.
It's just a lot easier once you have a following to then just execute and, like, you know, put out a product.
Yeah, and just quoting this article, it says, Paul's revealed that he wants to rival some of the biggest companies on earth, including Pepsi, Coke, Gatorade, and more.
So he wants to rival these people in the space of, like, drinks?
In the space of drinks, beverages. Supposedly it doesn't taste bad. I've seen a bunch of, which is the only thing I've really seen. I just think it's the interesting part of this story is simply that Logan Paul and KSI are working together. I don't really give a fuck about the drink. I mean, I wish them all the success in the world, but the drink doesn't really do it for me. It's the same thing like when the Nelk Boys came out with Happy Dad. It's like,
What's that?
You don't know about Happy Dad?
No. The Nelk Boys came out with something. What is it? It's like a sport drink, or
it's a seltzer. It's a hard seltzer that's supposed to compete with Truly. And,
get out of here.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Happy Dad.
Oh, okay. Happy Dad.
Yeah.
I've never tried it. I've tried the you ever see that reality TV show Summer House? My girl watches it. They came out with something called Lover Boy. It's like a spiked, I think it's like a spiked hard lemonade or something like that, or like a spiked.
Is it good?
It's something. Yeah, it was pretty good, man. My girl would get it all the time in the summer. Like, she would just drink it like when we went to the beach and stuff.
Well, Happy Dad's a seltzer that's like in a traditional can. Like, that's like one of their like marketing things. They're like no more tall can bullshit. They're like,
I like that. Like Zima.
Yeah, so it like looks like it's in like, it looks like a beer almost. It looks like it's like a clean white can with like a red logo. They didn't come out everywhere right away. They were like only California for a little bit, like then only Florida, then California, Florida, then California, Florida, Texas, and then now they're like in a lot more places.
How they doing with it?
They're doing phenomenal. Dude, those guys could fucking sell shit in the bag. They could sell anything, dude. Those guys could throw that full set. They're like Supreme, bro. They could throw that full send logo on anything and it'll sell, bro.
Remember, did you hear about that girl when you say they could sell anything, they could sell shit in a bag? Did you see that girl from 90 Day Fiance?
No, she was selling farts or something.
She was selling farts in a jar.
Women could sell.
She made $200,000 selling her farts in a jar.
What about all the girls that are killing it with feet pics?
I mean, farts in a jar? How do you know that's even a fart? You know why she stopped?
Why she stopped? I didn't know she stopped. Why?
She apparently said that she stopped, allegedly, you know, I read this, that the diet she had to consume was so unhealthy to create these farts that were selling.
So I guess they were real.
Yeah, so it was too unhealthy for her
to
try to eat a diet that creates these farts that she was then jarring up and shipping to some sickos.
What do you do with that? Because if you crack that puppy, it might be gone forever.
Yeah, what happened? Yeah, you're right.
You gotta put yourself in like a one of those suits, you know what I'm saying, and then suck all the air back out of the suit, put it back in the can.
You gotta recycle it.
Yeah, bro. And it gets less and less potent every time you crack that puppy.
Imagine how mad you are. Some dude like cracks it when he thinks like his like girl went to work or something like that. He cracks. He's like, I'm about to smell this. He's like, it's about to go down in here. You know what I'm saying? And then she forgot her water bottle. And she comes back and he's like, oh no. He's like, damn it, it's all gone now. Shit is gone.
I didn't even get to smell it.
He's trying to scoop it out of the air. You know?
Yeah, I guess that's way weirder than individuals who like
feet pics?
Yeah. That's an interesting industry though.
What the
feet, liking feet is an interesting fetish. I don't got anything against it. If you like feet, do your fucking thing.
It's victimless.
Yeah.
You know
I can admire nice set of feet, you know, nice toes. It's not like my thing, you know what I'm saying? I don't want any pictures of your toes, but I can look at some toes and be like, man, those are some nice toes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some nice ones, and then you know when you're looking at a pterodactyl
or velociraptor.
Yeah, it's very different when that thing is tapping like this, like it's trying to figure out how to open the kitchen door. You know, that kind of shit. You don't want nothing to do with that.
But I just think it's crazy. There's like, and I think like during COVID, like sprouted even more, like girls just selling feet pics online.
Yeah,
yeah, dude. There's like this ever evolving industry of women online just selling feet pics.
How much they selling them for?
I don't know. I'm sure.
Hang on a second.
You know how every industry works. There's the low and there's the high. I'm sure there's $1,000 feet and there's a $10 feet. You know, it depends on what feet, how much money you got.
What determines foot value?
Yeah,
you gotta have 10 toes. You gotta have 10 toes, or you ain't getting full price.
I think that's like the barrier to entry.
Yeah, you got to have 10 toes. Because if you don't have 10 toes, you can't have 11.
No.
And you can't have 9.
Nope.
You can't have 6. You know, you're not able to command that price.
You know what? I think you could get away with 9 toes. You're just gonna not command a big price. I think you could come in with a couple less toes. I don't think
You could do 9, but you're gonna have to discount.
Yeah, 100%. You're not getting the same
10% at least.
Yeah, but I think that like bunions. I wonder if that's a special request. I wonder if people like that. I
Who
wonder
knows?
if it's like, you know what? I want a foot. That's probably even more.
It probably is. You can upcharge for a bunion.
Yeah, you got a bunion. That's a niche.
You can upcharge for a bunion.
A bunion's like a gauged ear. You work for that puppy.
Yeah, it depends. Again, one man's trash is another man's treasure. You know what I'm saying? If you got all these corns, you might be able to charge like $1 per corn.
Yeah.
Or you might lose $1 per corn,
Yeah.
depending on your demo.
Listen, for every 50 guys that are out there looking for feet pics, there's definitely one guy out there talking about, yo, you don't know anybody? You ever seen anybody with like bunions?
Yeah.
The corn on their feet?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, like what? Like, nah, I'm
Somebody
not.
with athlete's feet? I want to find somebody that, their skin is just falling off from the moisture.
Yo, yeah, like they're so well hydrated.
Yeah.
This guy, yeah, see, Seeker says in the chat, 11 toes is an upcharge. Yeah, you might have to charge a
That's
little extra.
exotic.
Yeah, it is exotic. You know what I'm saying? Where's the toe, though? Is it up here? Like a gallina? Is it up here like a...
It's
like
on the ankle?
It's up here like a chicken? Or is it just off to the side? We talking about a little something like this, a little something extra?
And are we talking about like one with like functioning extra toe? Because it's one thing to have one, but if you can make that motherfucker move, that's a different breed.
Whoa,
I know a lot
now
of
we're
guys.
going-
I know a lot of guys that had the little extra finger,
But it was dead.
but it dead.
It didn't do nothing.
Yeah, it didn't do nothing.
Now, if you could pop that baby...
yeah, if you could grab something with it.
Oh, if you got dexterity, forget it. If you could
Yeah.
just go ahead and grab that. If you could make one less trip from the grocery store, from the car after the grocery store, then goddamn, bro, you on, bro.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
You're on, bro.
The foot pick thing was big. I'm not a foot guy, but I could totally see why somebody be into it.
Yeah, I mean, to each his own. I mean, do your thing. Do your thing. I got nothing against it, man. Ain't nobody getting hurt with
Nobody's
the,
getting
with
hurt
the
with
feet.
that. I think that probably got big along with like, I'm sure feet pics was a thing before the pandemic, but like OnlyFans too. Like it was probably, there's probably some big like feet OnlyFans exclusive accounts.
There's a lot of people that are just really making a ton of money on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
For no matter what the demo, they're just
There's a couple hoes out here not making no money though.
yeah. There's a few. But to me, that's just something that that they might they're growing their fan base slowly.
Let's
you know what I'm
hear it.
saying?
You think they should have known from the beginning it wasn't gonna make no money?
I think somebody lied to them.
Yeah, the ones that aren't making money, they just have like this like false sense of like confidence
And
or-
false sense of confidence, and they're not realistic with what the limits are here. You can't be anything you want to be. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody told you that when you were coming up. You can be whatever you want.
Yeah, I
No,
wanted
you
to be
can't.
an athlete. I've been playing games my whole life preparing for this. Here I am, athletic as ever, not accepted.
Oh my god, bro, that's hilarious, yeah. Oh my god, that's hilarious, bro. Jesus.
But yeah, you're right. You can't most definitely can't do everything.
You can't. You
Listen,
can't be whatever you want, you know.
We're me and you ain't gonna be in the NBA.
No, I'm not gonna be in the NBA. I mean, shit. I think no, I'm not gonna be in the NBA. I will not be. But there's just certain things like I'm definitely not gonna be a quarterback. For Tampa Bay, it's just not gonna happen. There's
I'd be
Tom
lucky to
Brady.
get picked up by a local team. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm trying to play some pickup. On Thanksgiving Day in the park. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trying to play tackle, no pads. But I mean, it's
Unless
It's
you're
up for
very
debate.
rich and you have all the time in the world, because
even
I didn't
so.
think Jake Paul could be a boxer.
Even so, Jake Paul's not quite. He's not quite a boxer. He's knocking out guys that aren't
he's
boxers.
Not, he hasn't.
He's a
boxed.
fighter. He's a fighter for sure. I just don't know what kind. J. Cole, he's rich and he's got money and stuff. But we saw what he looked like when he was trying to play professional basketball.
So Justin hates the fact that I gotta get the fucking Paul brothers in my head. Justin hates J. Cole, And
I actually love J. Cole.
you don't like J. Cole, the basketball player. You don't like J. Cole, the athlete, or
That's
he's
not
not
true.
an athlete. Is he an athlete?
Listen, my take on J. Cole is I'm sure he's good. I'm sure he's the best basketball player out of all his friends. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's
That's a backhanded compliment.
No, I'm sure he's the best basketball player that he's played with beforehand.
Yeah.
But when you step onto the court again, enter my argument, it's disrespectful to throw the term athlete around because this man stepped on the court with athletes that do this professionally, physically, and do this shit, and it wasn't looking good.
Yeah. Are wrestlers athletes or actors?
Pro wrestlers,
Yeah.
athletes.
Okay.
They're athletes with a twist of thespian in them. You know, they definitely got some. They got some acting chops going on.
Yeah.
But those are athletes. Those guys are.
It's a sport.
No. I don't think so. I don't think it's a sport.
I think they're athletic.
It's not a sport because there's no real competition there.
Yeah, because it's all predetermined, right?
Yeah, it's they're athletes for sure. I just don't.
They
know
look like athletes.
They are athletes.
Uh-huh.
They are athletes. That's incredibly physical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's not nobody can just get up there and do what they're doing. There's nobody getting, but you don't agree that they're athletes.
I think they're athletes.
Okay, so they definitely are athletes. I just don't know if it's a sport. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if it's a sport.
We're gonna be coming up with these for the next 3 or 4 episodes.
Jeez, yeah, man. Guys, I know we dragged that on, but listen, it had to be discussed, man.
All right, Seeker. Thanks for sticking around, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man, for sure. I think we hit the 60, man.
We're way over an hour. We're at like an hour 20.
Are we?
Yeah, that's it.
Yo, sometimes it just goes that way. Listen, man, thanks to everybody in the chat. Hopefully you guys give us a thumbs up and some kind of like, subscribe, before you leave the chat. And thank you guys for stopping by. This is The Masses of None.
Episode 68.
Episode 68, guys.
That's
We
that.
are out, and we will see y'all on Monday.
See you guys on Monday. Hit the low thirds before we go.
Oye, te hablo desde la prisión. Wilson Manyoma.